Well, good morning. Welcome back to the workshop. I'm Jeremy, owner Whitehurst Custom Woodworking, and today I was going to share with you a little bit of a process that I'm working on to give people more options when it comes to using oak. And so right now I'm currently commissioned to build this. Basically, it's like a farmhouse island, kitchen island, and it's kind of designed around like the shaker kitchen prep table or dairy table, some people call this. But one unique thing about pieces like this is you're really wanting that character in the wood itself. So it's not as much about the design, but it's more about the piece looking like it has some age and history to it. And so the client has chosen some red oak, and the red oak actually came from my front yard. Or actually this one's from my backyard. So I've taken down a few trees from my property, and half of them I have dried just naturally in the just out in the elements. I had it covered so it could dry and let the wind blow through, and then more recently I've built a solar kiln to dry the rest of it. But we ended up with some really pretty red oak, and it's all nice and straight grained. So if you see here, this is all, the grain is nice and straight, it's quarter sawn, beautiful stuff. But red oak does have that kind of light pinkish hue to it, especially once you apply the oil and finish to it. And some people like that and some people don't. I think it got a really bad rap back in the 90s and 2000s when, for some reason, all the cabinet companies put this orange finish on all of the oak in people's homes, and red oak just got a terrible rap. So I think red oak can be very pretty, but if you don't like that color, what I've been experimenting with recently is ammonia fuming. And so ammonia fuming is more common in white oak, and the reason people do it became popular back in like the early 1900s with the arts and crafts movement, and people would take white oak and expose it to ammonia fumes because the ammonia reacts with the tannins that are naturally in the different oaks. And what it does is it darkens the wood. And the more tannins that are in the wood, the darker the wood will get. And so here I have a few pieces that I'd like to show you the results of my ammonia fuming and give you an idea of the kind of color we can get naturally from the wood, rather than trying to apply a stain which will wear off as the piece wears. If it gets dented or dinged or scratched, you're going to go right past the stain, and then you're going to have to restain it. And I really hate furniture that is inauthentic. Yeah, really, my goal of this of my company is to build the highest quality products I can, and that all starts with the material. So I don't want to have fake colors on my furniture. I want the real color to come through, and I'm just really excited that there's this option to change the color of oak, because it's a readily available material, and if we can change the color and it be its natural color just through the ammonia process, I think we end up with a better product in the end. So let me bring you over and show you the results of this test. So here in front of me I have red oak on the left, white oak on the right, and this red oak both came from the air-dried trees or air-dried lumber that I dried myself. So this was not exposed to a kiln where it was exposed to high heats. I don't have any red oak here with me right now that was kiln dried, so all I have to show you is the air dried stuff, and I don't know if it would be different or not. I assume probably not. It should be the same results. And then on the right is the same thing. This is air dried white oak, also came from my property. And the ones in the middle here were the ones exposed to the ammonia fumes. And so these sat about 5 days in a really high concentration of ammonia fumes. I just used a 5-gallon bucket for these small test pieces. And if you were to do this on a larger scale, you'd have to build like a little tent so that the ammonia fumes can't escape and cause harm, because it is a dangerous process if you were to inhale the fumes. So I have a little bit of mineral spirits here. This is just a great way to see the color of wood without actually applying any finish. So let's take a look and see how different the wood can be when it's exposed to the ammonia. So I'll start here with the red oak. So you can see this red oak here. I don't know if it's because of the it being quarter sawn or it being air dried. I just find that this red oak that I have for this project is just way prettier than a lot of the stuff that I've seen. It feels like the color is a bit deeper, a deeper brown, and we still have that pink, kind of those pink undertones a little bit, but it doesn't feel like it's pink. It feels more, I don't know, natural, I guess. I'm just really liking just the natural look of the red oak. But if you don't like that, here is an example of what the ammonia can do to red oak. And this looks like white oak, but it's not, it's red. And so this I mean, is a really big difference. This here reminds me a lot of arts and crafts furniture that was made of white oak and was fumed. And I'm really surprised to see that the red oak had enough tannins in it to make this reaction. And the cool thing about it is that this has penetrated all the way through the wood. And on a thinner piece such as this, it is likely a 1/4 inch deep, like all the way around. So I could sand this piece back, I could build this piece of furniture and it be, have wear and tear on it. And all I would have to do to repair it is just put more finish on, and we have the exact same color. So there would be no stain matching or anything, because this is the actual color of the piece now. This, on this side, is the white oak. And white oak is known for having a really high tannin concentration. And of course, every tree is different. They can all vary, and you'll get different results depending on that. But this, you can see, is your very typical natural white oak look. It's more yellow than the red oak, more of like a golden tone. But these ammonia fume sample was in the same bucket as the red oak. So it's about 5 days of ammonia. And look at how dark. I mean, this is almost like walnut now. So if you wanted a piece that has a naturally dark color, but you don't want the grain of walnut or maybe the price point of walnut or something like that, and you want an appearance that's a bit more rugged and you still want it dark, this is such a great option for making that happen. I mean, look at how dark that is. It's like chocolate. So it's just a really cool process, and you can see how the white oak is much darker than the red, just because it has so much higher tannin concentration in it. So I hope this was kind of enlightening. I turn the camera around here. So I'm looking forward to incorporating this in some projects. This is definitely something I'll be offering to my clients. It is a little more time consuming. So if you're don't mind waiting, you do have to wait that 4 or 5 days for the reaction to take place, and I have to build a tent basically for the parts to sit in so that it's safe, because we don't want to breathe that in. But it is a really good option to darken the wood, and you can control how dark you go. So the longer it sits, the darker it will be. And if you want to just take away a little bit of those pink undertones of the red oak, you could just let it sit for a couple days, or you could go longer like I did here for a full 5 days, and you'll end up with some stunning wood. So this was my first time doing this. and I thought it was quite easy. You just you build your tent, or in this case I used a bucket. You have a bowl of ammonia, and you can have like 1 or 2 bowls of it if it's a bigger tent you're trying to do. And we end up with beautiful wood. So keep this in mind if you're looking for something a little darker but still want a natural, authentic piece of lumber, nothing stained. And yeah, give me a shout if you're interested.